Have you ever left a conversation feeling completely empty, even though nothing bad was said? Have you noticed that some people leave you feeling lighter, clearer, more like yourself, while others leave a heaviness that follows you for hours? Why do certain people disturb your peace without ever raising their voice? Why does your body sense something is wrong before your mind can explain it? What if that exhaustion is not a flaw in you, but a form of awareness your mind has not yet caught up with? The Buddha once taught that nothing arises without a cause, and perhaps the way certain people affect us is no different. In Buddhist wisdom, the people around us do not only affect our emotions, they shape the condition of our mind. Today, we explore why certain people drain the spirit, and what wisdom teaches us about protecting the peace within. A student once told a monk, "I spoke with a man today for only a few minutes. He was polite. He said nothing unkind, but I have felt unsettled ever since." The monk replied quietly, "Your spirit noticed something your mind had not yet found the words for. There is a quiet intelligence that lives beneath our thoughts. It does not speak in words. It does not reason or explain itself. It simply feels. And very often, it feels the truth long before our conscious mind is willing to accept it. You walk into a room and something feels off, even though everything appears completely normal. You speak to someone who smiles warmly, and yet something in you pulls back slightly. A subtle unease, a tension in the chest with no name. Your mind searches for a reason and finds none. So it tells you, you are imagining things, but you are not imagining things. Think of still water. When something disturbs the surface, even gently, even without force, the reflection becomes unclear. The human mind is similar. When we are in the presence of someone carrying deep emotional turbulence, even if they say nothing, even if their behavior appears calm, our inner world begins to respond. We feel anxious without knowing why. A heaviness settles in the chest. Our thoughts become louder, more restless. Not weakness, not imagination, sensitivity. And sensitivity is not a flaw to be corrected. It is a form of awareness. And this leads to a profound realization. The soul often feels the truth long before the mind accepts it. A woman once told a monk she felt hollowed out after every visit with her closest friend, even though the friend had never been unkind. The monk said gently, "Some people carry a storm inside themselves they have never learned to calm. The storm does not ask permission before it spreads. Some people who drain us are not cruel, not bad, not malicious, just suffering. And suffering, when it goes unexamined for years, does not stay contained within one person. It spreads. A person who holds deep, unresolved anger does not need to raise their voice to make others feel uneasy. The tension lives in the way they enter a room, in the restlessness that hums beneath the surface of every interaction. A person carrying chronic insecurity pulls at the emotional energy of those around them without ever meaning to. Resentment, bitterness, unspoken grief, not character flaws. Unhealed wounds looking for an exit. In Buddhist understanding, this is dukkha, suffering. Those who have not yet awakened to their own inner nature act from a place of unconscious pain. They create ripples in the lives of others, not from malice, but from confusion. When we truly understand this, something shifts. We can feel less personally wounded. We can see difficult people with compassion rather than only frustration. But compassion does not mean we must absorb what they carry. We can wish someone well, while also protecting the stillness within ourselves. And this leads to a profound realization. A restless mind rarely creates a peaceful atmosphere. Understanding why does not mean we must stay close to the storm. A student told her teacher, "Everyone says I am too sensitive. I feel people's moods, the weight of things left unsaid. Is something wrong with me? The teacher replied, do you curse a candle for illuminating what others cannot see? Some flames simply burn brighter. If you feel things deeply, if you notice the subtle shift in someone's tone before they speak it, if conversations leave you drained in ways others never seem to understand, then hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is not being too emotional. It is a form of perception, a refined awareness of the emotional currents running silently through the world. In Buddhist practice, deep awareness is considered one of the most precious qualities a human being can develop. But as awareness deepens, the world becomes more felt. The practitioner who cultivates deep mindfulness does not become numb to the world. They become more sensitive to it, more attuned to subtle energies, unspoken tension, the suffering in the people around them. If you are deeply sensitive, you likely absorb the emotional atmosphere of every space you enter. You carry other people's pain even when they haven't shared it directly. You leave certain conversations inexplicably depleted because you have been doing invisible emotional work the entire time. Holding space, processing energies that were never yours to begin with. Many sensitive people are told they are too much, and so they learn to dismiss what they feel, to override the quiet signals their inner world sends them. But those signals are wisdom, and this leads to a profound realization. The deeper your awareness becomes, the harder it is to stay comfortable around inner chaos. This is not a burden. It is an invitation to protect what you carry. Two monks traveled together for many years. One was known for deep, steady peace. The other struggled, anxious, easily disturbed, never quite settled. A student asked the peaceful monk, "You have studied the same teachings. Why is your mind so calm?" The monk replied, "We have read the same words, but we have not always chosen the same companions." The Buddha was deeply practical. He did not only teach philosophy, he taught how to create the conditions in which peace could actually grow. He spoke of kalyana mita, noble friendship. The companions we choose are not merely pleasant additions to our lives. They are forces that shape our inner world. Environments filled with chronic negativity, gossip, anger, manipulation, emotional drama do not leave our inner world untouched. They quietly erode it. Think of what happens after extended time with someone who constantly complains, finds darkness in every situation, draws every conversation back into conflict or grievance. Even if you begin feeling grounded, something gradually shifts. Your thoughts darken, your patience thins, your optimism becomes harder to find. A candle placed in a room full of smoke will eventually struggle to stay lit, not because the candle is weak, but because the environment is not suited to its nature. And this leads to a profound realization. Peace cannot grow in environments filled with emotional noise. What surrounds the mind becomes, in time, the condition of the mind. A student came to a monk looking exhausted. "I give everything to the people around me, and yet I feel completely empty." The monk replied, "You have been lighting candles for everyone in the room, but you forgot to protect your own flame. You are allowed to protect your peace, not as an act of selfishness, not as a way of abandoning compassion, but as an act of wisdom. Your inner peace, your clarity, your calm, your capacity to be present is not an inexhaustible resource. It requires tending, it requires protection. Many people, particularly those who are sensitive and caring, have been taught that being good means being available to everyone. That setting a limit means you are cold, selfish, unkind. But this is not wisdom. This is a path toward quiet exhaustion. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You can hold compassion for someone while also recognizing that their presence consistently disturbs your peace. Both things can be true at once. Creating distance from those who drain you is not abandonment, not cruelty, not a failure of love. It is an honest recognition of what you can and cannot sustain. The Buddha spoke of equanimity, not passive acceptance of all things, but the ground from which wise choices are made. And sometimes the wisest choice is distance. A gentle, compassionate, firm stepping back, not with bitterness, but as a quiet act of protecting something sacred within you. And this leads to a profound realization. Compassion does not require self-destruction. Protecting your peace is not the opposite of love. It is what makes real love possible. A traveler once asked a gardener how he kept a small garden so peaceful at the edge of a busy road. The gardener said, "I tend to it every day. I remove what does not belong, and I am very careful about what I allow to grow near it." Peace is not something that simply arrives on its own. It is something we cultivate, something we return to again and again with conscious intention. Left unattended, the inner garden does not stay a garden. Other things grow there, things that crowd out what we value most. There are practices, simple but deeply powerful, that help us return. Silence, not the absence of sound, but intentional spaciousness. Moments where the noise is allowed to settle, where we are simply being. Solitude, time that belongs to no one but yourself. Time to let the emotional residue of the day dissolve before it accumulates into something heavier. Mindfulness, a patient return of attention to this moment. The breath, the body, the quiet hum of awareness beneath the noise of thought. Selective presence, the conscious choice of where you place yourself, who you spend time with, what emotional environments you allow to shape you. This is not isolation, it is discernment. Buddhist practice does not ask us to become walls, closed, guarded, unreachable. It asks us to become grounded, so rooted in our own inner peace that we can be present with difficulty without being swept away by it. And this leads to a profound realization. The mind becomes clearer when it is no longer surrounded by constant emotional disturbance. Peace is not something that happens to us. It is something we choose and protect every single day. There are people in your life who, when you leave their presence, leave you feeling more like yourself, lighter, clearer, as if something in you has been quietly restored. And there are others whose presence, however familiar, however long-standing, consistently leaves you heavier than before, further from your own center. Awareness teaches us to notice this difference, not with judgment, not with bitterness, but with honest, compassionate clarity. You did not choose to be someone who feels things deeply, but you can choose what you do with that sensitivity. You can learn to honor what you feel without being overwhelmed by it. You can recognize what nourishes your spirit and what quietly depletes it. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is not a failure of compassion. It is not a turning away from love. It is an act of wisdom. Because only from a place of inner peace can we truly offer anything of real value to the world. Some souls restore you simply by being near. Others reveal, through the exhaustion they leave behind, exactly what your spirit needs to protect. Both are teachers. Awareness is knowing the difference. Your energy is sacred. Guard it wisely. Tend to it with care. Return to stillness often. Inner peace grows when we stop ignoring what drains the spirit. If this message resonated with you, comment below. I protect my peace. Subscribe for more teachings on Buddhist wisdom, inner peace, and the quiet work of protecting your spirit.